today is the importance of the sunlight. As we talk in third primary, if you are hungry, you are going to ask your mother to make a sandwich for you. But do you think plants can do like you? Can plants ask their mothers to do a sandwich for them? No. Plants are producers, which can make their own food by themselves through a process which is called photosynthesis process. So, plants are living organisms that can make their own food by themselves through a process which is called photosynthesis. So, they are called producers. So, what are producers? They are living organisms that can make their own food by photosynthesis process. Examples about producers: green plants, algae, some types of bacteria. Let's repeat them. Examples on producers: green plants, algae, some types of bacteria. Let's see how can these producers make their own food by themselves. This process is called photosynthesis. What are the ingredients for making photosynthesis? The plant needs sunlight and need water and salts from the soil, need carbon dioxide gas from the air. The leaves absorb carbon dioxide gas from the air. The green substance, which is called the chlorophyll, in the chloroplasts absorb the sunlight, and the roots absorb water and salts from the soil. And these are the ingredients for making photosynthesis. So let's revise. Green plants need carbon dioxide from the air, water and salts from the soil, sunlight which absorbed by chlorophyll. The sunlight is the source of energy. So the plant use which type of energy? The plant use solar energy or light energy. To form what? To form starch. And starch is the food for the plant. And as a result of this process, oxygen gas is released or produced. So the plant needs carbon dioxide, water and salts, sunlight absorbed by chlorophyll, and it produces starch and oxygen. So these are the products. Starch and oxygen are the products, and these are the necessary factors. The necessary factors for making photosynthesis: carbon dioxide gas from the air, water and salts from the soil, sunlight absorbed by chlorophyll. Okay, how can the plant absorb the sunlight? Because plant cells contain chloroplasts, which give the plant the green color, and the green color is given by the chlorophyll, and the chlorophyll is a substance that absorbs the sunlight. So the plant absorbs light energy of the sun, water and salts from the soil, carbon dioxide gas from the air. Which part from the plant absorb water and salts from the soil? For sure, roots. Which part of the plant absorb carbon dioxide gas from the air? Leaves. Okay, so what are the factors or the conditions? The word factors mean conditions of photosynthesis process: carbon dioxide, water and salts, sunlight and chlorophyll. If the plant don't have chlorophyll, it cannot make the photosynthesis process. If we cover plant, it become yellow and weak. Why? Because it needs sunlight to make its own food by photosynthesis process. So sunlight is one of the necessary factors for making photosynthesis process. Okay. Let's make sure that the plant produces starch. We are going to detect the presence of starch by using a solution which is called iodine solution. The color of the iodine solution is brown. If we put few drops of iodine solution on the plant, the iodine color, it will change into blue color. So how can we indicate the presence of starch in the plant? By using the iodine solution, which changes into blue color. And the plant produces oxygen gas. So starch and oxygen are the products of the plant. during photosynthesis. If I ask you give reason, plants are known as autotrophic. Autotrophic means producers. So plants are known as autotrophic organisms or producers. Why? Because they can make their own food by themselves through photosynthesis process. Do you think why they can make their own food? Because they have chloroplasts in their cells. Now, the second type of living organisms are consumers. And what are consumers? Consumers like us. They are living organisms. They cannot make their own food, but they depend on producers to get their own food, directly or indirectly. What's meant by directly or indirectly? Cow and sheep feed on plants directly. They eat producers directly. But what about the lion and snake and hog? They feed on consumers indirectly because they feed on producers. They feed on consumers that feed on producers. For example, the lion feed on a deer and the deer feed on plants. So the lion feed on producers in an indirectly way. The third type of living organisms are decomposers. What are decomposers? They are living organisms that cannot make their own food by themselves. Because what? Because they don't have chlorophyll in their cells. So how can they get their own food? They get their own food by feeding on, they feed by decomposing dead bodies and food and plant remains. So how can they get food? They get food by feeding or producing, decomposing dead bodies and food remains. Examples on decomposers: some types of bacteria, some types of fungi such as red mold fungus. So if I ask you, bacteria are decomposers, we are going to say because they cannot make their own food and they feed by decomposing dead bodies or food remains. What are the importance of these decomposers? Number one, they help us to get rid of dead bodies and plant remains. If we don't have decomposers, the earth will cover it with dead bodies. So they are very important because they help us to get rid of the dead bodies and plant remains. Number two, they increase the soil fertility. The meaning of soil fertility, they let the soil be more suitable for planting. Number three, used in a lot of industries, such as yogurt, making bread, making alcohol. So they are used in a lot of industries. I want you to notice that producers use sunlight. So they use which type of energy? They use solar energy. And they store this solar energy in the plant in the form of chemical energy, So the plant stores chemical energy in the form of food that transfer to consumers. So inside our body, there's a chemical energy. And after death, by the death of consumers, this chemical energy transfers to the decomposers. So it transfers into the soil to increase the soil fertility. Yet the plant use which type of energy? Use solar energy. And this solar energy changes into chemical energy. And it is stored in the plant in the form of food. Then it transferred into our bodies or the bodies of consumers. And after death of consumers, this chemical energy transfers into the decomposers. And then it increases the soil fertility. Okay, let's practice. We are going to open page 62, class worksheet number 12. The first question complete. From the necessary conditions, the necessary factors for photosynthesis process are. This question means what do the plant need to make photosynthesis process? The plant needs carbon dioxide, water and salts, sunlight, and chlorophyll. So what are the necessary factors? Carbon dioxide, water and salts, sunlight, and chlorophyll. Question 2. The products of photosynthesis process are: what do the plant produce in the photosynthesis process? What are the products? Starch and oxygen. Starch is the food of the plant. Number 3. The role of chloroplasts in green plants is absorbing the sunlight. Chloroplasts contain chlorophyll, which is responsible for absorbing the sunlight. Number 4. We test for starch by using iodine solution, which changes into blue color. So, how can we detect the presence of starch? By iodine solution, which changes it into blue color. It was brown and it becomes blue color. We test for oxygen by, this question is cancelled, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4 with us, but 5 is cancelled. Open page 62, class worksheet 13. Number 1, write the scientific term. Number 1, living organisms that produce their own food. What are the organisms that can make their own food? They are producers or autotrophic organisms. You cannot write plant because plant is an example on producers. You have to write producers. Number 2, the energy that is stored in the plant. Which type of energy is stored? Chemical energy. The energy that is used by green plants to make their own food. The plant use which type of energy? Solar energy. So the plant use solar energy and it changes into chemical energy, which is stored in the plant. Number 4, living organisms that depend on other living organisms. Living organisms depend on other living organisms. So they cannot make their own food, and they get their own food by depending on other organisms. These are consumers. Number 5, organisms that transfer energy to nature after the death. Here it is a key word. After a death of living organisms. Which organisms transfer the chemical energy into the soil? They are decomposers. Complete. Human is considered as a consumer because they depend on producers, while the green plants is considered as a producer. Class worksheet number 14. Open your pamphlet page 63. Number 1. Some bacteria and fungi are from the decomposers, which get rid of dead bodies and increase soil fertility. So these bacteria are considered as decomposers, and these decomposers can get rid of dead bodies to increase soil fertility. Give reason. Number 1. Green algae are producers. Now I ask you, why green algae are producers? Because green algae have chlorophyll in their cells. Without chlorophyll, they cannot be producers. So they can make their own food by photosynthesis process. So when I ask you green algae are producers, you cannot say only they can make their own food by photosynthesis. You have to say as they have chlorophyll in their cells. Number 2, human is considered as consumers. Why human is a consumer? Because they cannot make their own food and depend on producers to get their food. Number 3, decomposers are useful organisms. Now we are going to write what are the importance of decomposers. So, what are the importance of these decomposers? As we said, number 1, they get rid of dead bodies. Number 2, they increase soil fertility. How can they increase soil fertility? By transferring chemical energy into the soil. By this, they can increase the soil fertility. Number 3, they are used in some industries, as we say, in making yogurt, making bread, making alcohol. Thank you. Now, please don't forget to do your homework. Solve page 41 and 42 in the school book, in this school book. Okay, thank you for listening.